why the Cowboys need to hurry up and re-sign Micah Parsons as in this week. Listen, guys, I got to tell you some stuff here. Micah Parsons needs to be re-signed immediately. And when I say immediately, I do mean absolutely, positively, immediately. He needs to be extended immediately. I'm going to get into my top 3 reasons why he needs to be extended immediately. But before I do, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow Boss Cowboy Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and now X. You can follow me, the OC100, on X. I don't know if you guys just heard, but what I heard greatly encourages me to really speed up if I were the Dallas Cowboys on the re-signing of the Micah Parsons. Max Crosby just got extended by the Las Vegas Raiders. Defensive end, 6-year player, 3 years, $306.5 million. $106.5 million. That is a little bit more than a 35 per average a year. Oh my goodness. And look, if you think that this one event doesn't change any extension talks or negotiations, you're sadly mistaken. Micah Parsons is the creme de la creme young lion. He is the guy that will command the market for any edge rusher whatsoever. And so the fact that Max Crosby is now the highest paid non-quarterback in the league speaks volumes in terms of the amount of urgency that the Cowboys need to have related to signing Micah Parsons. So Max Crosby, Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, he's played 6 years. He's a really good player. He's had accumulated about 59.5 sacks, 59.5 sacks. Micah Parsons, over 4 years, has accumulated 52.5 sacks. So Micah Parsons almost has equal sacks to Max Crosby, and he's played 2 less full years in the NFL. He has over 50 sacks in a 4-year career. At this clip, he will eclipse 100 sacks in 7.5 to 8 years, not barring injury. That would be a record in terms of fastest to get to 100 sacks. He will be at least top 2 in terms of fastest to get to 100 sacks. So we're talking about Micah Parsons, which could potentially be a all-world first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it in the business, and a guy that really, based upon his productivity now, he doesn't even need to play a full 10 years to get 100+ sacks is how impactful he's been. And the sacks that he got, more than 12 this year, was after he missed a quarter of the games. About a quarter of the games. So if Max Crosby can get over $106 million with 35+ per year average, what do you think Micah Parsons will command? And do we really think that all the talk about Micah Parsons saying, hey, I'm going to be team friendly? Yeah, maybe to an extent. Do you think that his representation is going to let that fly? Do you think that you're going to get Micah Parsons in this building for less than $40 million average per year, some type of way, however you want to chop this up? If you do, you're sadly mistaken. And I'm sorry to break the news to people that may disagree with this, but you can put your comments below in the chat and I will look at it. But I'm saying this. Look, the Cowboys need to get on the hop related to Micah Parsons, and they need to do it now, because the longer they wait, the higher the price gets driven up. We've seen this with Dak Prescott repeatedly, as a matter of fact. We've seen this even with Diggs. We've seen this even with CeeDee Lamb. We've seen it with a multiplicity of players recently in Cowboy history, where the imminent extensions of top players that are the core of your team gets dragged out much longer than what it should, thus driving up the price because you're not proactive enough and you don't attack these things as fast as you need to attack these things. And I'm telling you guys, This one with Micah Parsons, if he decides to get upset and he starts mouthing off in the media, it's not going to look good for the Cowboys, because if he gets mad, I'm afraid he's a guy that'll tell all. And with any organization that's successful, any organization that is ahead of the curve, the good teams do this in the NFL. They solve their biggest problems first. They solve their biggest problems first. So if it's a top quarterback, they get them done. If it's a top receiver, they get them done. If it's a top running back, they get them done. If it's a top defensive lineman, they get them done. And these contracts happen sooner rather than later. These don't drag out. And I'm talking about good teams. And I'm saying this to say that right now, the Cowboys are just an average team. They're not even a really good team, especially in the way that they're ran in terms of organizationally speaking. No offense, I'm just stating the obvious here. What bad teams do is they drag out things and they reverse engineer, or they reverse the flow, and they solve their smallest problems first. They do the easy signings. They do the guys that, they're signing, their option year. They're coming into a one-year deal. They do stuff like that. The good teams solve their biggest problems first. And the Cowboys need to solve this problem immediately, or it could be repercussions in terms of the salary cap, which is number 2. Look, if you wait and you have to commit an exorbitant amount of money to Micah Parsons, that is going to greatly limit your ability to sign and keep other players, which lessens your ability to maintain your competitive edge. You have to be able to retool. Also, good teams do this. They retool. Okay, they don't rebuild. Bad teams are always rebuilding. If you look at the bottom of the NFL, you look at the teams that historically are just really not overall good teams. The teams that are not good are always in some type of rebuild. And this should not be the case for the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys need to be in a position to retool their roster, fill gaps, and keep this thing pushing if you're going to be a competitive caliber team that can go deep into the playoffs and potentially win the Super Bowl. Also, another component to this is that the Cowboys really need to bear in mind the competitive landscape of the NFL. As you look and you see the moves that are being made in our division, as you look and you see teams making moves even across the NFL, the teams are serious about getting better, faster, in a hurry, and they're not waiting until the draft or whatever is left over after the draft to do so. They are not. So the Cowboys need to take a page out of some of the better teams' strategy in terms of building their teams and their rosters and how they approach the offseason. And if the Cowboys do this, effectively, I'm urging them to do it, because we could be in a great position going into the draft. We don't want to be playing catch up when we actually could be playing ahead of the game if we take care of our business and address some of the key issues that we need to address on our roster. And when I say key issues, I mean wide receiver. I mean go ahead and re-sign Micah Parsons. I mean go ahead and invest and try to get you another 1 technique or get you a good 3 technique to complement the re-signing of Osa. You need to do things like this. You need to be extremely proactive. But look, if anybody else, and I'm not even sure as I make this video how many other people are out there, but if any other defensive lineman gets signed and they're above the 35 a year mark of a Max Crosby, man, that is just putting more and more and more pressure on the Cowboys. So the Cowboys better wake up, smell the petunias, be smart about this thing, be wise, and whatever you do, do it quickly. So if you like this content, man, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow Boss Cowboy Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter or now X. All right, let me know your comments below what you think about the video. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We appreciate your support, and until next time, see you.